Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Namaste. Welcome to Part 2, Subject 10 on this course about the Spiritual Master. Subject 10 is about the topic, the Spiritual Master must be self-controlled. Srila Rupa Goswami was the leader of the 6 Goswamis, and he gave us imperative guidance in his book Upadesamrita, the Nectar of Instruction, in which the very first verse gives clear direction on this topic. The Nectar of Instruction, which contains 11 verses, constitutes the first instructions for a neophyte devotee, and thus it begins with understanding what are the qualities of a genuine spiritual master. All other verses are established upon this important topic. Rupa Goswami writes in verse 1, "A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world." So everyone has the power of speech, and as soon as we get an opportunity, we speak, we communicate in one way or another with other people. Nowadays, that may be through social media, but if we are not speaking about Krishna and the devotees, then we will speak about all sorts of material topics. A frog in a field speaks by croaking, but he is inviting the snake. Nevertheless, the frog goes on croaking until the snake finds and consumes him. So the tongue can glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord, or the tongue can take us further away from Krishna. So speaking is not the problem. It's what we are consumed with speaking about that is the problem. Therefore, Rupa Goswami begins verse 1 with a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak. Next, Rupa Goswami addresses the mind, which is flickering and restless by nature. The agitation of the mind can be controlled when a person focuses his attention. But once again, it is what we are focusing our mind on that will either help or hinder us on the path of bhakti yoga. For example, a passionate businessman has his mind focused on business almost 24 hours a day. But unless he is genuinely offering the fruits of the business to Krishna, then his mind will take him further away from Krishna. His mind will be dominated by the mode of passion. On the other hand, we cannot create a vacuum of the mind. The mind by nature is active. Therefore, if we are thinking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, contemplating our service for Krishna, our mind will naturally become our friend. The third point Rupa Goswami lists is anger. We cannot stop anger altogether, but we can use anger in a constructive manner. For example, Lord Chaitanya showed us. He became angry with Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Lord Nityananda. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka. but his anger was utilized in the proper way. For the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, we can observe that these three senses are physically situated in a straight line as far as the body is concerned. Therefore, if one eats at scheduled times, eats not too much and not too little, and importantly, eats only food that has been offered to Krishna, then the urges of the tongue and simultaneously the belly and the genitals can be controlled. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 6, 227, it is stated that a person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. So it is clear from this small collection of quotes that the spiritual master must be self-controlled. But Scripture also instructs that the disciple must strive to be self-controlled. The Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.43 states, "One who is not self-controlled, specifically in sex life, can become neither a disciple nor a spiritual master. One must have disciplinary training in controlling speaking, anger, the tongue, the mind, the belly, and the genitals. One who has controlled the particular senses mentioned above is called a Goswami. Without becoming a Goswami, one can become neither a disciple nor a spiritual master." It's quite an intense but short class coming from Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Instruction. Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.